We are on part 3 of our Ways to Manage Stress week. And I wanted to do a quick review here on my whiteboard and get us thinking about what we have been learning, because today you are definitely going to be using what you've learned and teaching someone and ultimately doing an interview with them that should last maybe a minute long, asking them some key questions that I'll show you in a minute. So when we're looking at ways to manage stress, remember the big thing that we want you to do is understand what you can and cannot control. And a lot of times we get most stressed out when we can't control a situation. So there's these 3 key things that we want you to do if you cannot control your situation. Is first of all, change your attitude. That might be something that you hear come out of your adult's mouth very often, but it is very true. You can definitely change the attitude you have towards that stressful situation. The second thing you can do if you don't have control or feel like you don't have control is you can really control your feelings or your response to that situation. We don't always have to respond with anger. We can choose a healthier response to get through the situation better. And then finally, change how you are framing that situation or that circumstance. Okay, if you change how you frame that, okay, now what we feel and what we do and what we get is very different. Secondly, what I want you to understand is that we want you to choose positive ways to cope with stress. So again, we don't want you to turn into negative and possibly harmful things for yourself. We want you to look at the great ways that you can get over that. Understanding that if you have stress right now, these are 3 things that you can do. You can practice your deep breathing. You can do progressive muscular relaxation. And finally, you can also use that guided imagery. All 3 of those can be used like right now. Okay, you can just stop, breathe in, hold, breathe out. Okay, you can sit at wherever you're doing your schoolwork and you can start contracting and relaxing those muscles, muscle group at a time, or you can just close your eyes and slide into that safe, comfortable place. And then finally, if you do have ongoing stress, 3 things that you can do to prevent that stress from happening most often is, hey, get outside, be active, or even be active in your house. Make sure that you are understanding that you need time management skills. Okay? And remember, we went over what some of those hints are that you can use for time management. And finally, we want you to learn to talk about it. Find a trusted friend, a trusted adult, and then let them know if you need advice or let them know if you just need a vent. Okay. Even as an adult, I have those people that I go to that I can just unload on, and it's very, very beneficial. We are moving into part 3 of our ways to manage stress today. And again, you are going to be reflecting on all the things that we've learned over these first 2 parts, and you're going to be conducting an interview. But before you do that interview, you're going to be choosing someone in your household who is high school age or older, and you're going to be teaching them some of the strategies and techniques that we've learned. So first we are going to watch this video, and what she is going to help us with is really understanding um, how we can deal with stress in more of a fun and lighthearted way and not be so serious all the time, but also what is the chemistry that's happening in our bodies. These are 4 quotes. The 3 of them we've already gone over, and the new one is on the bottom left. It states, it's a good idea to it's a good idea to do something relaxing prior to making an important decision in your life. Okay. And the reason I added that to our other 3 quotes that we've done in parts 1 and 2 is because you have to understand that the second you stress out, the second you're in freak out mode, the second you're in shutdown mode, anytime you deal with stress in an unhealthy way, your life no longer can be done successfully. Our brain actually puts a block up where we cannot be successful if we are stressed out as we're making decisions. So really trying to find your center, trying to find that calm spot before you make a decision or before you take a test, before you start new learning, before you have a tough conversation is the best way to go. So again, part 1, we talked about positive and negative ways to manage our stress. Part 2, we talked about 3 stress reducing and stress prevention techniques. And then today we're going to talk about some skills that you need to have for dealing with stress, and then ultimately do a family talk in an interview. So if you can recall back to part 1, we asked you to identify a stressful situation or a stressor or particular situation or circumstance that just occurred recently or you foresee happening in the future. And I want you to go back to that part and think about how you would typically respond to that situation. And really, what did you do or what do you think you might have done? So, knowing what you know now about positive responses to stress, how would you evaluate yourself? Okay. Did you do a good job? Would you say that you definitely know that you could have managed it differently? And you don't need to necessarily be accountable to that person or to that circumstance right now. Okay, but that's something that we want you to move to in the future. So the two worksheets you are going to be doing today, worksheet 5 is going to be time to talk. And you're going to look at some skills that you need for dealing with stress. So what you're going to do is you're going to chat with someone who lives in your household that is high school age or older. And you're going to talk to them about the skills you have learned in part 1 and part 2 for dealing with stress in a positive way. So there is a worksheet that you have in Schoology that you are going to read through. It talks about when to talk, what you can say, things to know, and then also it's going to talk to you about teaching 2 strategies to them that are from our previous lessons. Then on the next page is worksheet 6. This is the interview. So once you've gone through worksheet 5, you'll be doing a brief interview to find out what they learned from you about ways to manage stress. There are 3 key questions that you are going to be asking them during this time, and all 3 questions must be completely answered in order for the interview to receive full credit. Also, to receive full credit, both people, you and whoever it is that you're interviewing, must be in the video. Okay, so we can't have a video where it's looking at the ceiling. We can't have a video where it's just one person. Okay, we can't have a video where you're off to the side and then the other person is in the video. So please make sure that you are being very mindful of the ways to receive full credit. Here is what the worksheets actually look like. Skills with dealing with stress. Again, you're going to go over the when to talk, what to say and things to ask, what to say and things you can share. Then you're going to go over things to know about stress. That part is right here. And then over on the side, it talks about how to teach deep breathing and how to teach progressive muscle relaxation. Then you're going to move over to the interview. And it states right here the directions and the 3 questions. So you are going to now move on and look at the ways that we can manage stress and get your interview done and submit that to Schoology. All right, have a fun day and hopefully you allowed yourself to have Friday off.